Welcome to Shelburne Falls. For anyone from out of town, Shelburne Falls has been my home for many, many years. And some people know me as actually the Earl of Buckland, which is a title of nobility in my mind. And I'm here actually to answer a question that I've been working on answering for myself for several years, is how to stay active as an office worker. Back in 2006, I became an office worker and joined the local team of human service workers. And in 2012, I started to answer that question for myself. And I set a goal of hiking in nature, and my goal was a really simple goal of hiking 10 miles a week, which, I mean, to some 10 miles is a lot, but I simply set that as a goal I thought I could achieve every week. And since 2012, I've hiked a minimum of 10 miles a week. This was a great adventure I had with a friend of mine in Buckland, or I'm sorry, in the Berkshires. And this is a part of the Appalachian Trail. And for those who aren't familiar with the Appalachian Trail starts in Georgia and goes through Maine. And the Appalachian Trail is a national trail, but what I really want to talk about today is not about the national trails, but about hiking locally, hiking in Shelburne Falls or your own community. As someone who lives in Massachusetts, we have approximately 60 state parks and numerous other conservation areas. So literally most people don't have to go more than 5 minutes from their house to take a walk in nature. This marks one of the most significant bridges on the Appalachian Trail. This traverses over a river of cars, a Jacob's Ladder Bridge over the Mass Pike. Many people have passed by it, but it's an incredible experience just to walk over the Jacob's Ladder Bridge. And for anyone who happens to be in the Lee-Beckett area, I encourage you to venture this way. The bridge is near the trailhead, and it's actually a quick 2-mile hike to a really beautiful lake. This is one of my favorite sites in North Adams. It's a bridge that marks one of the northernmost parts of the Appalachian Trail in Massachusetts. And this is my sense of patriotism is about getting outside and hiking these majestic places. This was a beautiful fall day last year, and this is Mount Greylock. For those who don't know Mount Greylock is the tallest mountain in Massachusetts, and from its lowest point, I mean, if you hike from the north and you jumped up in the air, you'd have to jump a mile in the air before you got to the top. And so this is an example of an incredible place you can hike without having to go out of state. Or most people, when they think of hiking, they think of the Whites or the Andes. They think of you have to take a long trip, but this is a quick drive from where we're standing. And this is actually one of the most accessible mountains because you can actually drive to the top. So you can decide to hike 2 miles or 10 miles. This is another example of hiking with my friends. And one of the things I like about hiking with people at different levels is that we inspire each other. And it's really incredible to see people grow. A lot of people I hiked with a year ago only hiked 2 miles. Now they're comfortable hiking 5 miles. And we all have our own limits, and we work within our own limits. And the most important thing I'd like to leave people with today is about hiking locally, and also about teamwork. So the number one thing I'm sure people experience when they've gone out with folks is that we oftentimes will divide into groups of the more athletic and the least athletic. And the biggest thing is a sense of teamwork. So when we go out, we hike together and we take breaks together. and it's a matter it's a matter of being in nature, not so much a matter of can we get to the top in 20 minutes. And that's the main reason I've decided to do hiking as a way to stay in shape, is it's about being in nature and discovering some of the secret places in Massachusetts. And this is an example of one time in the wintertime we needed a bridge, so I was making a bridge one stone at a time, so to speak. Although I don't recommend anyone building bridges as you go hiking. And winter hiking is my new passion. Oddly enough, I hike more in the wintertime than the warm weather. And one of the things that enables us to hike in the wintertime is tools like I have here before you, and things like microspikes. Microspikes not only make it safer, but give people the confidence to be willing to brave the elements. This is an example of winter tanning. We all need to work on our tan in the wintertime. This is also an incredible example. This is a woolly bear, and for lack of a better word, it's a caterpillar. But what's incredible to me is when there's a foot of snow on the ground, there's still things like woolly bears in the woods that you can happen upon. In February, you would think all those things are hibernating. And this is obviously an example of a very, very cold winter day. This is one of the coldest days in February of 2012. It was about 20 degrees that day. That's why no short sleeves. But the hiking in the wintertime is, that's always been my biggest challenge as far as staying in shape. Is, we all get a little lethargic in the wintertime. So going for a quick 1 mile hike in the wintertime or a 2 mile hike, it just helps us to keep the blood moving, so to speak. But nothing like blue sky. And this is on top of Mount Greylock, and this is a site that most people will never see in person. The difference between this picture and every other picture you've seen in Mount Greylock, other than the snow on the ground, is if you look very closely at the memorial, the tower, the door is closed. The door is closed in the wintertime when the road is blocked. So this was an example with me and some of my other intrepid friends. We hiked to the top in the wintertime. It was a very arduous 6 mile hike to the top. And when I use the word arduous, I mean arduous. Normally I use the word like challenging, but this was actually arduous. Near the top, quite literally, it was, to our surprise, there was approximately 3 feet of snow near the top. And I only know that because my legs are about 3 feet long. The warm weather. Now, this is an example of what I call a secret place. And this is actually in southern New Hampshire, in Hinsdale, New Hampshire. This is the ruins of Madame Cherie's castle. It's not really a castle, but it makes a good story. So if you're ever in southern New Hampshire near Keene, Brattleboro, look up Madame Cherie's castle. It's quite an interesting place. I like to call the stairways to heaven because you can take the stairs up and they don't really go anywhere. And this is a view from above the ruins, about a mile or so above the ruins. And another example of blue sky. And that's also one of the reasons I hike, is for blue sky. It's very therapeutic. Now, this is a historic site. This is the Shelburne Fire Tower, and it's one of the few stone fire towers in Massachusetts, and it was built in 1909. This is one of my favorite destinations, and this is 1.5 miles from where we're standing. And then this is one of the secret treasures in Massachusetts. For anyone who's seen it in person, that they understand. But this is a flower that I picture being in some tropical rainforest. This is the pink lady slipper, and it's one of the reasons the video we saw before my talk was so important, is it's talking about the high ledges. And the high ledges and this whole New England area is one of the few places to find the lady slipper. But I encourage people to venture up there and see if you can find the lady slippers. And what's also incredible, the pink lady slippers are very rare, but this gold lady slipper is 10 times more rare. And this picture I took last year, and they're just incredible to see in person. They're much smaller in person. And then this is an example of what I call trail yoga. I was actually not attempting to stand on my head as it looks, but I was attempting to a pose called the crow pose. But occasionally, in a number of those intrepid adventures, we do spontaneous trail yoga. Usually not like a whole hour like a standard yoga class, but usually 10 or 15 minutes. Breath of joy, the crow, whatever suits us. And lastly, this is the primary reason we hike is for good sunsets. So I just want to leave everyone with a message of be active, stay active, and enjoy beautiful sunsets. Thank you.